Okay, so in this video I'm going to talk about how to SSH into your Codenvy box, and it's quite handy. It's a little bit easier than using the terminal here. You can use SCP as well to copy files over, which I think I'll either put at the end of this video or make another video. I'm not sure. Okay, so first step is you can just read these directions. So if you click on this SSH button here, and this may or may not be there by the time you see this video. If it's not, that's okay, because you'll see the instructions in the video and hopefully they won't change. So you can click on that, and then when you create your account, it automatically gives you a private key that's associated with this workspace. So I'm not going to show that, but it's right below here, and you would want to copy that. But before we do that, let me go into this. So you can do these different methods to connect, and from any OS you can use this. I believe it's a command line tool that you can install. I don't have that though. You can use this method on Linux, or now Windows also has SSH, OpenSSH, so you can actually use this on Windows as well, which I'll do. I'm not 100% sure if that's not because it's something I installed, like Git Bash, when I installed Git, but I believe it does come on Windows now with the latest updates. And if not, you can install Git. This is the only other thing I can think of that would have given me this option. You can install Git right here, and then it would definitely work. Okay, so again, you can use PuTTY if you would rather. There's really no need anymore on Windows to use PuTTY because SSH is now on Windows. Okay, so I'm going to use this method, the Linux method. And you can run it from either the command line or PowerShell. So I'm going to use PowerShell, but either one should work. So you can just copy this command, and I will. Okay. And then I have a folder here that's going to contain my RSA ID file or ID RSA file. Okay, so I'm going to open a PowerShell to this window, so you can shift click anywhere in the white space and it will give you this option to open a PowerShell. If you regular right click, it won't give you that option. You could use Git Bash if you wanted to, that would work. If you do want to use a command line, an easy way to do that is to just go up here and type in CMD. It'll automatically open a command line to this folder or this directory. So that's one way. And you can see SSH is working there, but I'm going to use PowerShell just because I'm used to it and it's fine. And it has a few things like ls already built into it. Okay, so I'm going to paste this command that we got. So a couple things to note about this. This will change, and this will change every time that you start your server after it's been inactive, or if you just stop your server manually and start it up again, basically restarting it. So you can start and restart, it will change. I'm not sure if it will change if you start with a snapshot. I mean stop with a snapshot, but I believe it will anyways. So watch out for that. You're going to have to get this every time the server starts. As far as I know, maybe there's a way to make it so it doesn't change, but at least by default it does. So watch out for this changing, this node 17 part. It'll be a different number. And also the port. Same thing with the port, so watch out for that. So yeah, this is the SSH command. This is user, and I'll get back to that in a second. This is the host name, and then this is the port. And you specify it like this. This is key that you need this port as well, which will also change if you restart the server. So watch out for that. But again, you can, every time you restart it, you can come back to this and it will show you. So another way to get that information, and it's a little bit buggy sometimes, but you can go in your dashboard and you can click on, after you, well, first you can go to your workspace. Don't click there, click up here. This will just open this window here. So click on this and click on this workspace. And the server will also be listed under SSH. This will be listed, the correct one you need, as well as the port will be listed in the servers tab as well. I'm not going to open that in case there's some sensitive information in there. I'm not sure. But that'll be listed in there as well. Sometimes it doesn't load. I don't know. But if it doesn't, just come here and use this information. It's the same stuff. And again, as I was saying, your server will time out, and it's showing here in 10 minutes. So what you want to do is, to prevent that from happening, is just every once in a while run a command, start a file, whatever. Okay. By start a file, I meant like run a node file. Whatever you want to do, just make sure it doesn't go idle. And then again, your SSH key will be in here as well. And as I said, I don't know if I said it in this video, but I said it previously, make sure that your SSH key will show in here, the private key that you need to copy. Just make sure if you hit the copy button, or don't use the copy button basically, because it'll put it in a format that's all in a single line, and then you'll get an error when you try to connect. It'll say invalid format or something like that. So you want to copy it so it looks like a block of text, like a square or a rectangle. That's what you want it to look like. So you could just copy it manually by selecting it like that. Okay, and that again is your private key that you want to copy. And you could also copy it from down here. It's below, everything below this. I'm not going to show it, but it's below Workspace private key. If I scroll down, you want to copy everything there, and that is also your private key. It's the same thing that you would find in the SSH tab here. Same thing. Okay. So, and then of course you can change that and do all kinds of different settings, but I'm just going to use the default one that came with the Workspace and not worry about it right now. And that's part of the reason I'm not showing it, because I don't feel like messing with it and changing it. Okay, so that's that. Now there is one other kind of tricky thing, and that thing is this user is user. It's the word user. Do not change this to your username. It will not work. So use the word user as your login name. Okay. So that threw me off a little bit too. I was trying to use my my actual login name, but no, use user. Okay. All right. So I copied this in here. Let's come back in here and make sure that it doesn't time out. So I'll print working directory. Okay. All right. So I copied this command. So what do I need to change? A couple little things. I'm going to actually open a git bash here as well. I could also do this, what I'm doing here, in PowerShell, but I just want to open it in bash because, I don't know, just for something different. So, so on your computer, you might have set up SSH before. I've set it up before to connect to a different service, and you might have a private key in your SSH folder, as I do. So you would, in general, it's this path. It's your home directory /.ssh, and then it would be inside this folder, or inside this file here, without it, that doesn't have an extension. So if that's the case, when you run this command here, without this I part, so without this part, and by the way, it was in brackets because that means it's optional. And the reason it's optional is because if you run it without this part, then it will look in that folder for ID RSA, and it will use that private key in that file. But I'm going to use I'm going to paste in a different one. So in order to use one from somewhere else, you have to make sure to use I. I believe it stands for identity file. I think it shows somewhere. Here, let me copy this command and see what it says. Let's see, SSH. Yeah, identity file. Okay. No, we don't want that. Alright. So I got this right. Got the port correct, and now the identity file. And this is, as it was showing before, the path. Since I'm running it within this folder, which I'm going to put the file in anyways, I don't need to specify the path because I just need to specify the file name. So it'd be ID RSA. I believe you can name it anything, but by convention it's named RSA, but I'm not sure about that. So just call it ID RSA, and you're good. Alright, and we don't have that file. So if we try to run this now, it's going to look and say that file doesn't exist. And we'll say yes. And then if you get something that asks for your password, something went wrong. Like right now what's going wrong is it's looking for the key, it's not finding it, so it's asking for the password. And we don't use a password, we're using a private key. So we can Control C to get out of that. And so what we need to do now is create a new file in here. There's a few ways to do it. You can open Visual Studio Code there, whatever to do it. I'm just gonna cd into it and type the touch command. The thing is, on Windows, if we try to make the file with no extension, it won't really let you, I don't think. Or maybe it didn't. Oh, okay. Maybe it does. I lied. Okay, so ID RSA, you can just make that touch. ID RSA does the exact same thing. But anyways, so you would open this. We could open it with code. That's fine. We bring code over here. And then this is where you would paste in your key, your private key. And remember, the two places I said to get it were below this. Copy everything below. Or SSH tab here, and then make sure it's in the block format, not in a single line. Okay, and once you do that and save it, then you will want to rerun this command, and it will, it should connect. And let me actually copy my RSA key out of view into that file and save it, and that way we can see what it looks like when it connects. So hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Alright. Almost done. Pasted it in. Okay. Alright, let's try it. And just so I don't accidentally paste it, let me copy this. Okay, cool. Alright. So let's run this now again, see if it connects. And it connects, and I'm in. So that's cool. And then you can just move around, use any command, and again, your projects folder is in the root, which I think is a little bit strange, but it is. So there's that hello.js. We can view the contents here, all that kind of stuff. So that is how to connect to with SSH to your Codenvy box. So if you have any questions, let me know, and good luck. Thanks for watching.